appreciative. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. If you're watching on Warchant TV, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, it's a buck. What are you doing? Join already. Let's go. Got a lot going on this week. Busy week. Now listen, as excited as I was to get the football season started and get a game under our belt, you guys know from listening to me last week that I didn't think that we were going to learn a lot in this game. Turns out I was wrong about something that we could learn, and it's an unfortunate thing. The rest of it, we really didn't learn. And that's not a bad thing because they didn't do anything wrong. The thing we learned, we kind of already knew and just hoped like hell that it was a thing of the past, but it's not a thing of the past. And now you realize you have no depth at quarterback. Unfortunately, it would appear that Tate Rodemaker falls in the camp of those that when the lights turn on, freezes and forgets all of the things that he's capable of or has done, at least in practice. Don't want to lead with that, but that's the one thing we didn't learn. I said we wouldn't learn anything. Well, we did. As far as what Florida State did, they took what they were supposed to do, applied it well, and beat the bejesus out of a Duquesne team that was ill-equipped to fight, and that's what you're supposed to do. So you don't get negative marks from me for doing that. If anything, you just get the doff of the cap. I really appreciated the attitude and the focus to begin the second half. It was something that I was watching intently to see. Would they, having just played a half against a team, again, outmatched, outgunned, whom you know is of no threat to come back and win a football game or to be in the game, how well are you able to focus, execute on that drive, and put the game away? They got to stop. They come right down the field. They score. Good on you. That's very mature. That's something a mature football team does, is go back out there and take advantage of the opportunity and to execute perfectly and to go right down the field and punch it in for a score. So I was pleased about that. I think other highlights for me, and Tom, you and I will compare notes. To me, I just continue to get very, very excited about Deuce Spann. And I can't believe how far he's come in such a short period of time, given what I thought he was going to be when we saw him in spring. In the spring, I really got hyped about the potential for Deuce Spann because he looks different than the other receivers we have. And I think athletically, he's more gifted than the other receivers we have. But he was raw, and he looked really raw in the spring. So you just thought, well, I don't know what the timeline is. I just don't know how fast, and it's different for everybody. And so you just don't know how quickly is he going to be able to pick up the offense? How quickly is he going to not have to think and just be able to play football? Because, if you're an average catcher receiver of the football and you're thinking about what your responsibilities are, what your routes are, and those kinds of things, and you're thinking about your depth, you're thinking about all that stuff, it can be very difficult to do the simplest of things that we expect of receivers, which is to, catch it. And yet he looks so fluid in the opportunities that he got in this game. And there were a couple times where he ran a perfect route and was open and we went somewhere else with the ball, which is fine too. But that's on film for people to look at. That people have to see that now. They know that guy can be a real problem. He's capable of perhaps changing the scoreboard. So I got excited about that. Very excited about that. We already knew, I thought, Tom, coming into the game that one of the real strengths of this team would be the running back room. We felt good about it. Still feel real good about it. I mean, I don't go crazy over long runs and physically imposing runs against Duquesne. That's what you should do if you're a Florida State running back. And they did. They did that. They did a good job with that. They will not be able to bounce as many of these runs against LSU, obviously, as they did against Duquesne. There were opportunities there. They were patient. They were able to kind of string some plays out to the outside, and they just had too much speed, too much strength, and dominated that way. I think there'll be a slight adjustment here against LSU in the sense that when a play is called, ideally between the tackles, they're going to have to hit it up in there and take what you can get and move on. You saw some great jump cuts in this game, in particular from Toafili. That's going to be difficult to do against LSU. It will not be available as frequently as it was against Duquesne.
Yeah, I actually had a lot of takeaways from this game because there was subtext to it. For example, the game plan was to just run straight ahead. That's an identity that you want to form.
Well, they did what we thought they did. They ran the ball. Yeah.
In a game like this, though, you can kind of choose the way you want to define what you're about. And in this case, they wanted to be physical, which is good.
They took the game seriously. I mean, that's first and foremost. Let's start with that. They took it seriously.
They didn't have Tate next to Jordan at any point, nothing crazy like that.
They took it seriously, and they told the guys to go out and utilize the physical advantage that they have. When you have a physical mismatch at the line of scrimmage, run the ball at them, step on their neck, and be done with it. They did that right from the get-go. Obviously, first 6 drives, they score. So that's what you're supposed to do.
I thought Jordan, he's 11 of 15 with 2 drops. So I thought he looked solid. Real solid, and decisive. He missed on a couple of throws or choices, but it's because he was decisive with where he was going with the football. Thought he got a little bit greedy a couple of times, which is good. I like that. There are times in practice and in last season specifically, where you say, dude, just cut it loose. Come on now. Throw it now. And he was much more now on Saturday, which is good. That's a good sign.
He took a step forward from where he was a year ago with the decisiveness. You are correct. We'll see. I hope that I'm holding my breath that continues. I know he's a better quarterback than he was last year. How much better, I don't know yet, because, again, I don't know that there was a lot of in the way of threats for him in this game. He could have kind of gone anywhere he wanted.
But he could have been timid, and he would have said, man, Duquesne, come on, it's Duquesne. You got to do something here. And he did some things. Now, the one thing he missed, unfortunately, was Marquiston was open on a throw over the middle. I think it got him down inside the 10-yard line. Yeah. Marquiston on a wheel is wide open for a touchdown. Mike alluded to, he missed some things today.
Yeah.
That was one of them. But I like this offense now. You could see it take hold. If you could complete some passes, all of the options they have are a nightmare. For example, on Jordan's touchdown run to the right, Johnny's there on an outlet. So you've got a read option, Daniel swings around to lead block, and then they still have an outlet over to the right.
Curious about that.
Things like that. Well, counting. Principles with counting.
No. I'm talking about the person that.
Oh, yeah. Malik was blocking for him. Well, I mean, you might cheat towards Johnny thinking he's going to block. It's probably about, doing something that's unexpected. And then for the one catch he had before he got hurt, Johnny Wilson put enough on film on that one play, I think, that LSU has to take note.
Yeah, they do. I wish he could have gotten back in the game because he fought the hell out of that catch.
Yep.
That was the least natural looking catch I've ever seen. And he really does fight the ball. He fights the hell out of the football in games. I mean, what we saw, you saw the drop, and then you saw that. I'm like, okay, he needs more at bats is my point. He needs game at bats. That's where we talk about.
He was lobbying too. That's the good sign. That's good news. Yeah. Ira said that from the press box that he was trying to get back, and they said, stand down.
No, and then it stinks though. I just wish that he had not gotten rolled up on because the opportunity to just relax. He was probably hyped beyond reason. I get all of that. This is not me trying to be overly critical. I am critical of the way he catches the ball. It's not natural. He's not a fluid catcher of the football. He can become better, but that's only going to happen the more you do it in a game. He got real good in the fall camp that we just concluded. He got really comfortable every day doing
natural,
it. Yeah. Whereas he kind of reverted back in the opportunities here where you're like, oh, you're fighting it a little bit, but it's a game. Yeah. It's a game and you're sky high.
They were hyped up. The other thing too is that attention to detail and toughness mentally after the delay is not nothing, because again, Mike probably dropped another F-bomb. You saw it for the Georgia Tech game a couple of years ago. Yeah, they're ready to go. They're off to a good start.
And then again,
the best drive of James Blackman's career to start that game. And I think it was a Cam over the middle that he hit for the touchdown.
Cam McDonald.
And then, boom, lightning delay. And Mike looked to the sky and said, you have got to be bleeping kidding
And we did not come back out and handle that well at all.
Right. Now, this game, of course, did not start.
Yeah.
Kickoff was 90 minutes late. But still, that messes with your routines. And they came out and they were still very sharp.
I think that for what Florida State needed to do in this game and what we needed to see in this game, you got pretty much everything you wanted. I don't know, like some folks are going to say, and we're always going to do this after a game, because when you win in a lopsided fashion, what are you going to do? Spend an hour gloating about how you beat Duquesne by 40? You're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to nitpick. You're going to look for the things that can be better that will be exploited by teams a lot better than Duquesne.
What was interesting too, and it's a big takeaway. This is a huge storyline, I think, is that Dylan Gibbons is your second center.
Well, without question.
And we saw that in practice, but then when Darius goes down, he slides over. I thought, that was not on the 2 deep. So I'm glad that they showed that so that we can discuss it. that Dillon is your second. I think that might be the best offensive line if you put him in the middle with some of the options you have at guard.
Last night on the Smash, I said to Ira, I like that lineup best.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have Dylan Gibbons at center. He also looks very natural.
Well, and the other storyline is that Jazz, within a week, he
At
moved to guard late.
Yeah,
very late in camp.
Well,
they already like him a ton there.
You're moving around guys because you actually, for the first time in forever, have some options, which is really exciting. And I hate that one of those options were born out of injury to the center position more than one guy. But one of those guys appears to be back and ready to go this week in Maurice Smith because he's on the OR list of centers.
He was not on the depth chart last week at all.
So to me, he looks like he's close to being back. He's an option. Now, again, when Dylan slid to center, I went, oh, man, this is the lineup here. I kind of like this 5, and they're going to continue to move this around. So many guys got to play. So many different STs got to play and look good, and I mean, nasty.
Yep.
I mean, he's a nasty.
Yeah, his
dude.
PFF grade was bad because of the hold.
Yeah,
and the penalty will kill your grade.
That's where you got to watch
exactly
the game.
Right.
That's
100%.
where you got to watch the game. If you watch the game, you're like, oh, there it is, and he's a nasty cuss. I love it.
The one thing that they got right, though, PFF on and they got a lot of things right, but Bless did not have a good game.
See, I didn't think it was as bad as that grade.
Oh,
I'm going to go back and watch again.
Surprised.
I didn't think he had a great game, but I didn't think he was dreadful.
He turned a couple of guys loose before he moved to left tackle. Like I would understand if you move to left and things don't look great, but he turned a couple of guys loose at right. I was thinking, man, it's Duquesne. What are we doing here, Bless? He looks stiff.
Well, I mean,
which is not typical for him.
He's had a good camp. They're not elite at tackle. They're not going to be no matter who they throw out there at tackle. So to me, I've heard people say they were more concerned about the interior of the line. I really wasn't. I felt like the interior, especially with the options that you have, which continue to grow apparently, you feel pretty good in the interior. I'm worried. I think the tackles have been average.
Yeah, privately, I thought, is there subtext that Gibbons wants to go and project next level as a guard and not as a center? Is that why we're keeping him there? Because the potential of him at center if Darius comes back healthy, Darius playing guard, and you throw him in the mix with Dimitri and Jazz and then Bryson.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to move forward, but
I just wish we had.
We'll see if Maurice is healthy enough too.
Yeah, and I just wish we had tackles. We really, obviously you've got one in the fold, and he got to play. Julian Armella got to play. But obviously you don't want to have to play him a lot this year.
But he got to show the wheels a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
There was one play in camp that you could kind of write about, but kind of not. They were running a screen, and Armella got there too fast to block. The defender wasn't there yet. So and Mike was like, take it easy, hombre, because he can move. And they showed that on Saturday. A lot of young guys got in. I was fired up about what I saw just because, again, first games, even against a team like Duquesne, can show you what the coaching staff believes the team can be and what they want them to look like and play like. This was about physicality, and I love seeing that. I don't care if it's Duquesne or anybody else. You want to be physical? Good. I don't want to be finesse either.
Still feel good about my under prediction on this upcoming game against LSU. I don't think they're going to block LSU very well, and I don't think LSU is going to block Florida State very well. So that would speak to an under.
It was good to see, and D-Rob was talking about it a lot during the in-game thing. The glance concept, the RPO with the throw on the in cut.
Yeah.
That's an in-breaking route, sir, that we see on a read option.
I know. I was very excited.
That's something you're going to have to work to death because it's quick. It's now.
So, the other thing that I guess if we're going to, and we have time here, and I want to look at the overview of this upcoming week, what we have in college football, what we also have, what we just saw this weekend, Nebraska losing again.
Holy.
I know. So, it's all of that. But, hey, I actually a tip of the cap to Florida A&M. Shorthanded and showed real fight. That if you're North Carolina, you're like, damn it, man, this ain't good.
Yeah, how's it 35-24 in the third quarter?
Why are we in a game is what they had to have been thinking. So I was very proud of Florida A&M, given the really terrible set of circumstances. But they fought their ass off. That was great. But so I want to look big picture stuff and a lot of different things. Again, I'm very careful about takeaways in a game in which player for player, Florida State outmatches Duquesne across the board by a lot. So there are some things I like. Taking care of business is one of them. Doing what you're supposed to do, leaving no doubt, not having one wondering whether or not you're going to be capable against games against middling teams of doing what you're supposed to do. Nothing in this game is scaring you to death. There are some things that I will be watching closely. Do they get to Cooper back this week? It's going to be important because Jones, no. we don't have some depth at corner
You
that
could see why they wanted to go get another one even as late as the beginning of camp.
and we may end up seeing him because they need to find a couple more guys. I'll just say that. I thought Noles played well. In time, I still believe Azaria Thomas is going to be fine. I mean, he was right there.
The touchdown that's terrible. Terrible technique by Zaria. He's got inside leverage before the snap, and he just turns the kid loose.
Yeah,
That's
weird.
What the hell?
I think
that's a freshman.
Yeah, it's a freshman. It's you think you're a better athlete, and you're just going to make up for it. Yeah. So there's that. But he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I love him. He'll be good. Bravo to Renardo Green, who played well. I thought he played well. Listen, if you're asking me on a Monday about what's next, my great fear is what's next is a crop of receivers that Florida State is going to have a hard time covering. LSU has got a distinct advantage in this matchup at wide receiver versus our corners. Now, I love our safeties. They're going to have to help big time in this game. And then you have to hope, and I don't know, we'll see. It is a big we'll see. You have to hope that you can take advantage of a freshman tackle, that you're able to get pressure, because if you do not, you're not covering those guys.
That's one thing upon watching it a second time I learned. In the flow of the game, I thought, Jesus.
Well, no, they got rid of the ball so fast.
They did.
No, that coach was smart. He was trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
Well, and they were there, too. Another tick, and you probably have 5 sacks in the football game.
Yeah. No, that didn't bother me.
Initially, I was a little worried, but then upon watching it again, I thought, McClendon was in there a lot. Verse obviously had one, but he was knocking on the door for a couple others. So they passed the test. It was a full check for that game, but we'll see this week.
Tatum Bethune was great in this game at linebacker, of course, because he is, and he'll be great, I think, every week. Knock on wood, he stays healthy the whole year because he's really good. Lundy looked fluid again, like that weight loss has really come into play there.
They like each other, too. That linebacking core, you can tell the guys that work together and then the guys that like each other. That group, they're all rooting for you after every play they make. I mean, Bethune was right there for Lundy, vice versa. That's good to see. Linebackers need to be a brotherhood.
You got to be a little crazy to play the position.
That's right.
And Deloach looked good, too. So those 3 are fine. Don't have anything after it. And
I was sorry to see that Amari was on crutches, but he, for the football game itself,
he didn't play well.
No, lost outside.
Rarely does.
Yeah. Well,
so there's that. I mean, that just continues.
He finished the season better last year, but boy, if you wanted to see the leap be taken on the field on Saturday before he got dinged up, it did not happen.
No, I hate that he got hurt. I'm not saying anything about that. That stinks. I hope he's all right. You're going to need him. I mean, he's going to have to play for you some, but he's just the instincts aren't there. So it's frustrating when you watch it. It's
his eyes were in the wrong place a couple times. Same thing for Noles, but Noles made some plays too on the other side. I mean, sometimes it's a splash and it's a whiff, but Kevin got downhill quickly on a particular pass to, I think it was a 3rd down too.
Let's see if Duke plays this weekend. Duke Cooper. I mean, that's going to be important. I think it's going to be important. It's weird. They've got so many bodies to throw at that position, but I'm not in love with anybody really. I mean, at the end of last year, we loved what we saw from Cooper, but I didn't think he had a good camp. So let's see how he plays when the lights are on. And then, Renardo Green played better than I would have given him credit for coming into this season. I would not have guessed that he would be a guy that I'm going to rely on and feel good about. Okay.
I thought it was interesting, too. It was an ACC crew, but they allowed early contact both ways from the secondary.
They let him play football for once, thank God.
Yeah, Jamie was probably guilty of a couple. And then certainly on the drop by Johnny, catch it anyway. You're allowed to. But the kid got there a full second early. What are we doing? The one they threw on Azaria was BS. That wasn't even close.
There's an angle that makes it a little less BS. I wouldn't have called it either, but then I saw an angle and I was like, okay.
The question is the crew this weekend that we see in New Orleans. Are they going to allow for that or not?
I'm rooting for
advantage us if they do, I think.
I was hoping that they would let it be. Is it SEC officials? Do you know?
No, I don't, but I would assume so because we're in Orlando next year. So you would think they would give SEC for the LSU quasi-home game and vice versa.
Well, I'd rather SEC officials officiate every FSU game.
Yeah, I agree.
They're all better than the ACC officials. They let them play football. I'm fine with it.
Outside of the money, that's the second best thing if we move to that conference. Officials.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. They can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shannon Lord with Finn Chiropractic. We are primary care physicians, and you don't need a referral to come see us. Chiropractors not only help you get to the root cause of your problem, but it helps get rid of neck pain, back pain, and headaches. It makes your body whole and healthy on the inside. So if you or a loved one has neck pain, back pain, or headaches, make an appointment today to get to the root cause of your problem. Come see me, Dr. Shannon Lord, at finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com. Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart and Walmart.com. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G T-Mobile device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
State could go a long way in changing the trajectory of the season. I can look at this if I'm going to be pragmatic and tell you that if they lose, they are underdogs on the road in New Orleans against an LSU team that I think, if you look at the roster, has more talent. Doesn't mean that it'll gel, and doesn't mean that they'll go out and play great against FSU. Doesn't mean they won't. We just don't know yet. So there are some unknowns here. As for Florida State, if they go out and win this game, it could be a big deal. I really think that, because physically it would mean, and this is what I want to see, because this is my question mark to start the week. I don't know yet physically where Florida State's at by way of comparison to, say, at least from a talent standpoint, top 25 teams, top 20 teams. And LSU, without question, has the talent of a top 20 program. We're coming from so far back in the rebuild, right? And they've added pieces and added pieces and added depth and given themselves chances now to withstand the normal bumps and bruises and injuries, quite frankly, of a football season. Florida State's done that now. They've raised the floor of the wide receiving core. I don't think it's an elite receiving core, but they've raised the floor considerably. We'll see where they're at as the season plays out. We just got done talking about an offensive line that just a year ago, if a starter got hurt, you were basically dead in the water. You had a lot of guys who had to just play through injury because the option behind that player wasn't good enough. It was a minus player, and it meant certain failure with a lot of plays that you were going to try to run with that group. That's not the case anymore. I think Jordan's more confident. I like the offensive backfield in general. I think they've got a lot of guys that can tote the rock in any given weekend. Feel good about that. Not in love with the tight end room, but we knew that coming into the season. So, okay, that's another area where you hope to see a jump in due time. They'll continue to hopefully recruit that position and maybe find a way to see that floor rise going into the next season. Defensively up the gut, we loved it coming into the year. I still do. I like us up the gut. The two defensive tackles are really talented. They've got depth behind it. Joshua Farmer played well in this game. I'm a big fan of Tatum Bethune. I feel good about the three linebackers, feel very good about them anyhow. And I like our safeties. Not in love with our corners. A little nervous about it. You're going against an elite core of receivers for LSU. So you're going to get a test now. We'll find out where that is. And all of these things are little benchmarks to an improving program. So when I'm almost very analytical when I'm looking at this team now, as opposed to emotional at all. This is a year to see how much further they have to go. Can you register some wins along the way so that as you make these additions, you are a little bit more of a draw for recruits, right? That's an important part. Now, I'm not overlooking the fact that you got to win games. I got it. I think they're equipped to win games against a lot of the middling ACC teams. What are you going to do against LSU, Clemson, Miami on the road, Florida at the end of the year, and throw in NC State on the road? Those games, those are teams that have a higher level of talent and experience and are in adverse situations. And some of those being on the road, obviously, you worry about the NC State game in particular and the Miami game on the road. So this game is your first real chance to kind of, I think, give you a better glimpse of expectation of what's possible. How are they physically against this LSU team? You could, Tom, really quick. You could win a game where you don't have the better players. You're allowed to do it. It's happened before. I mean, we've lost to teams where we had better players. Just last year, happened to Jacksonville State. It's happened before. So I don't know where LSU's at in terms of how comfortable they are playing with each other, how comfortable the coaches are. It's a game one for them. All of these factors could conspire against LSU, and we could get a win because there's real continuity here. And we were able to kind of work out some bugs last week. I'm not saying that as if, oh, my God, this is Mount Rushmore. You've got to climb to try to get a win. I don't know what LSU is yet. I do know physically that they are going to give Florida State a very, very stiff test. This is going to be our corners against talented NFL receivers, in particular one guy that everybody knows in Boutte. And I think from there, our offensive line is going to get punched in the mouth early against a vastly improved and bigger, stronger defensive line than anything they just saw last week against Duquesne. That's for sure. So this bullying people thing that went on this past Saturday is not going to happen this Sunday.
It was nice to see that it can happen.
Well, yeah,
in our helmets and our jerseys, though, because it didn't matter for years whether it was an FCS team.
Right. Yeah,
you wouldn't see it quite like we did this weekend. The thing I liked about what happened to us defensively is even though Duquesne didn't move the ball that well, they had under 200 yards, they did hit on some plays that exposed weaknesses or deficiencies. A couple of throws where you're out of position. I think a couple of the plays, film-wise, you'll see that maybe a defender didn't follow where they were supposed to go. So there's enough there. There's enough there to teach. I also thought at times the defensive line looked like they were not as interested as the offensive line. I thought the O-line paid more attention to detail and was tougher for longer than the D-line.
Yeah, I thought the defensive line was bored.
Yeah. but that's a problem that you have to address.
I think LSU will have their attention.
Of course
they
will.
Moment will and all of that. Yeah.
But when you get into the meeting room with the coaches, you're going to get chewed out, and that's good. I would like that to happen, and that's why having the first game helps. I mean, you see the results around the country this weekend and out of the country in Ireland for sure. But, I mean, that UConn sticks with Utah State down to the bitter.
Surprising, yeah.
Things like that happen every week. So we'll see what LSU is. They could be a mess. And it could be week 1, and then by game 10, they say, wow, look at how much they've cleaned up. I have no idea what to expect from them. I do like what I've seen out of us so far, though. It looks like a tougher football team. They will face more physicality this week for sure, though.
Without question. And how do they handle it early? Can you get away with – because there's every football game, early in a game when you're kind of getting a feel for what a team is and what the matchup is, because every player has a different assignment. So, I know that whenever you take the field as an individual, within the concepts, the scheme of what you're running, you hear the play called and you know what your responsibility is. The next thing that happens after you make sure you know what the hell you're supposed to do on that play is it becomes a man versus man. It becomes a guy, even in zone. It becomes, what am I to this guy that I'm going to be dealing with all day? And everybody's had this happen. You go out there and maybe that guy's faster than you and he's going to be a problem. Well, that's going to change the angle. That's going to change a lot of things about what you do pre-snap in terms of the mental rep that you do just before the snap of the football. So you're going to, this guy's got a little heat to him. Okay. I can't go here. I got to go here if I'm going to execute this seal or whatever it might be. Right. Sometimes the guy is stronger than you. You find out very quickly. You've all done this. You ever wrestle around with somebody? It's a friend of yours. Maybe you're just kind of tussling about and you realize pretty quickly that dude's stronger than me. There's that country strong guy that you mess with the first time. And you're like, oh, well, that's different. He's strong.
I'm going to make friends with that guy.
Well, you also are going to adjust the next time that you're horseplaying how you horseplay. You're not going to
my technique has to be perfect.
But it's to be right because this guy's stronger than me or you're stronger than him. You find out lots of things throughout the course of these initial jabs, these tests. When you go from Duquesne to LSU, the first jab stings. The first shot you take is very different than the shot you took this past Saturday. It doesn't mean you don't adjust and can't handle it. It just means there's no way to replicate it. You're going to get out there. It's going to happen. Your adrenaline's going to be through the roof. The nation's watching. You're going to be in the Superdome with the country watching and this LSU team that has athletes. And it's now, and you're going to go, okay. Now, I think we got some dudes. We've got more dudes than we've had in a while to make that adjustment and say, okay, I can reciprocate. I can do that too. But it's going to call for that immediate uptick, and they'll feel that. They'll know that. And how quickly can they do it? And can they do it before, tragedy, I don't say tragedy, a catastrophe sort of play occurs where you put the ball on the ground or something like that.
Specific question for you. What'd you think of the 2-point play?
I thought they showed it to LSU to show it.
For what purpose?
Just to make
because we're going to run a 2-point play?
Just to make them prepare for it.
Waste 10 minutes on it or something?
Yeah, and waste some time having to prepare for it. And they'll do something off of it. It was terrible. It was terribly executed. There was nothing there. But, I mean, it's everything about it was ugly. And it made you roll your eyes. And it made me roll my eyes, too. But you just show that to them as you just show it to them like, hey, here's a swinging gate. There you go, guys.
Yeah.
And I go ahead and prepare for that because now if we line up in that, you saw we just did it. And now we're going to run something off of it. But you've just had to spend 5-10 minutes of your practice time preparing for this stupid thing. It's that's what I thought they did. I thought they
splitting their resources up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think it was anything more than that. I just love that we were so basic. I mean, that's what I wanted. Don't show anything. I mean, everybody runs a post dig. So who cares? I mean, that didn't show anything. Like there weren't outside zone. Great. We ran a lot of counter. Okay, good. I love that. Yeah. That's fine. We want to do that.
Outside zone. I don't know how much.
That ain't going to work against LSU.
No. In general, I wonder how much that's going to work.
Well, there's too much penetration.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't. And
the best guy we have to run that is Toafili, but I don't know how many chances he's going to get to do it. That's the best thing he does.
I know they want to incorporate it. When you watch, I mean, Norvell did have it at Memphis. They want to incorporate it.
Sure.
But I don't know. In this matchup, I think you got to hit downhill. We got to go. I'd run power, and I would run.
It's conflict. You got one guy conflict on every play.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. We've gotten 40 minutes into the show. We're so excited to be talking football again. I haven't even brought up the fact that, man, I just don't understand when it's going to happen, if ever, on these kickoff returns and these catchings of punts. What is going on? Did we piss off the special teams gods? What did we do?
Yeah, the punts I'm not as mad about. A couple of them, like the one that hit Noles, is 30 yards. I mean, he was at 38 yards depth, and the thing was 30. So what are you going to do? But the kick returns.
Oh,
Jesus, man. I mean, come
that
on.
same pussyfoot and half-stepping nonsense. I can't do it.
Mike was saying one guy messed up
no,
today.
I don't. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Quincy Police Department announced Saturday that it is investigating the death of an 18-year-old. The Quincy Police Department responded to a shooting that occurred at West Crawford Street. The victim, who was driving a vehicle, was traveling west on West Crawford Street near South 9th Street. The victim's vehicle was hit multiple times by gunshots. The gunshots came from another vehicle that was traveling behind the victim and then beside him. The victim was struck by gunfire, while 2 passengers reportedly did not sustain any injuries. The Quincy Police Department says that it has a person of interest in the incident. A man is in custody after a shooting occurred in Northwest Leon County Saturday night. The Leon County Sheriff's Office responded to the shooting around 8 p.m. Saturday on Tower Road and John Boy Lane. It was learned during the investigation that a group of people got into an argument which led to shots being fired. One person was injured and transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect, 42-year-old Lance Dickey, was taken into custody and charged with 1 count of attempted second-degree homicide. This is Rachel Ane with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. Highs around 88. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73. Partly cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
Hey, you, can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass. Oh, but I just wanted to feel it. Excuse me? I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor? They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound? Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn.
For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567.
Stay off my lawn. Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plates. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
That obviously the look ahead now to LSU, where I'm very excited again to kind of double check the personnel groupings there. Let's say thanks to Troy Knoll. Woo! It was great to meet you too, Troy. He writes, great to meet you, Jeff, and Tom, and the whole Warchant crew at the pregame show. It was great to meet you, and I hope you enjoyed Tallahassee for the weekend, having flown in.
Look at his icon. There it is, the photo.
Oh, that's right. He's got it. Yeah, it's a good picture. Good. Yeah. Great to meet you, Troy, as well. And then we had another one. Ryan Any thoughts on the game being the same weekend as Decadence Fest in New Orleans? That event brings thousands to New Orleans. Crowds will be insane. Oh, bring it on. Bring it on, Ryan. I love it. The crazier, the better. I like weird. I like all of it. I'm a pretty open-minded cat.
That's the hard part about Austin, Texas. Spent a lot of time there a few years back, actually 6 years back now, and the Keep Austin Weird thing is waning because it's becoming the new Silicon Valley.
It has, yeah.
Which sucks.
It
but
does suck.
This is my first trip to New Orleans, so anything you can do to add wrinkles to it and make it crazy and fun, I'm all for it. So if there are massive crowds, good.
Well,
I want to see Bourbon Street in all its glory with as many people out there as possible. That's what we're going to see, so I embrace it.
Yeah, New Orleans is always on the edge and fun. And so you're going to add to it. I'm fine with it too. Yeah, I've actually been there for New Year's and everything else. So
really, New Year's?
Well, we played in the damn bowl game out there.
Yeah, of course. Apparently, Frenchman Street is where a lot of the locals go.
Yeah, you and I will sit down.
We've got a list of stuff.
I
can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna have a real good time. And we have enough time, Tom. I'll just say that. Where you and I we can see some more historical pockets of things and some things that are really, I know who you are. We're dear friends. I know some things you'd like and some stuff that we can do. It'll be good.
I'll sleep till 8. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up at 6.
Well,
although maybe 7 on Central Time. 7.
If we're having a big to do the night before, I too will sleep past 6.
Okay, so we're not pulling a Charlotte here.
No,
Come on.
Yeah, it was Charlotte. How much trouble could you get in Charlotte? We were just drinking some beers. It was just whatever. You're like,
The game kicks off 13 hours from now. Why am I up?
Breakfast time, Tommy. Let's go.
No.
Let's do this thing. It was nice and cold outside. Remember that?
It was really cold.
It was really
because we were supposed to just walk to get breakfast. So I had shorts on. I was like, all right, it'll be 2 steps. We ended up walking about 2 miles back and forth to searching.
We did.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this because I feel bad. It's just that we've now seen it too many times. Tate, we are, buddy.
I knew that this was going to come for the post-game show, left and right, because there's callers and then the commenters. I'm not done with him yet, but that 4th down throw is rough. It's an interesting call, too. That's a 48-yard field goal.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah. No, the interception came on a 4th and 7.
Yeah,
That's an interesting call to go there.
Well,
first
I have
of
no
all.
problem with them going there, and it's open, and it's just the worst slant. How do you make that
The
throw?
body language was timid. There's no 2 ways about it other than the throw.
He also took off early on a play.
Yeah. Yeah, the play where he rolled right and then he got rid of it. Actually, that's a heady play, but it's a chaotic play.
It looked
right. And then Duffy, of course, comes out and his body language looks easy breezy, which is, in camp, they're throwing a lot at him. So AJ doesn't look that calm that often. But I thought he looked the part.
You've got to look calm up by a gazillion against Duquesne.
I'm not done yet, but I might be a glutton for punishment.
Well, I don't want to be done. They need him to be worlds better when the lights come on. At the end of the day, Duffy is not going to be ready this year. Very few freshman quarterback are. If he is, it'll be much later in the year.
I'm just saying it's bad for Tate because, of course, AJ came out and he didn't look unsure of himself.
No, he looked completely comfortable and calm.
Yeah.
And
there's one play he really ran, but it was interesting. It was very much a Jordan Travis looking play where he rolls left and it's a triple option. So you got the read and then he rolls left and you got the bubble. And he kept the ball. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
They're going to let him make a decision like that. All right, Mike.
I felt this is the older version. This is the older version of the Jeff Cameron show.
You're saying the conscience would have never emerged for a segment like this?
I felt, I would have just been, that's it. But I felt terrible for him. I just thought as soon as he did it, I went, everything broke down. You looked scared to death. That play was 1,000 miles per hour to you.
And that may have been costly on the number because it would have been a shutout otherwise.
Yes, it would have been a shutout. I gave 41 points. We won by 40.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks, Tate.
Well, you're allowed to force a field goal. That was ridiculous. Come on, 20. You're better than that. The camp he's had, you can't turn that guy loose. This is ridiculous. But that's why you put stuff on film in a game like that to learn.
The big problem they have, though, the realization is that you do realize, we all know this now, And I'm not trying to speak it into existence. It's just the reality of the situation. If Jordan Travis goes down, the season's real peril. They're in real peril. I don't. Now, I'm not telling you that there's zero chance that Tate can come out of this, whatever this is.
They put him back out there, and they went right down the field. I know it was largely a drive that's on the ground. I know.
It was all on the
I
ground.
know.
He didn't have to do anything. He completed screens. I mean, there's no, man. How many times? He is, and this is the problem, okay? Nobody is out here trying to pump up a backup quarterback for what reason? I don't know what the conspiracy is, but I had a couple people tell me, like, why does the beat constantly play up Tate Rodemaker? Because, man, and it's not this past year, it's since he's arrived. The dude has good practices, period. We said you started the Rodemaker thing because of the practice that we watched him have 2 years ago. He had this great practice. We were watching him. We were like, okay, that plays. There's tools there. You didn't know how long it was going to take him, but the fact that he had game, you saw it. His teammates saw it. They all talked about it. Players, I mean, goodness. So anyhow, the point would be, even though the Florida State fan base has never seen it, and I don't blame them for being like, well, okay, guys, I guess you're telling the truth, but every time I've seen him, be it in a spring game, a real game, against anybody, including Duquesne, he looks terrible. You're right. He does. I don't know why. I don't know why simply having to go into a game that is already decided, in which you have a decisive mismatch across the board, you're up big with no pressure whatsoever, why that turns into this anxiety-inducing meltdown. It's a meltdown. Look at everything about the throw, the decision, all of it. You're like, oh, buddy. It just makes me sad because nobody feels worse about it than he does. It does hamstring the team. I mean, they are in a precarious place now if he can't play.
Yeah, morale-wise, I think it would. We'd say, oh, boy. Because if Jordan goes down now, what are you thinking as a first-team skill position player? Man, you got to be kidding. But I'm just here to say that even though I've been tougher on old Rodemaker, and he's not the Rodemaker yet, the book's not shut.
Well, I mean, I'm glad, Tom, you say that, but
this didn't end it. I know for a lot of people it did, but there's a chance he's going to come in a meaningful moment this season. And
better hope not.
If that first throw is a good one, then maybe that's what it takes. It's just I belong. Okay. And then we move forward.
I was racking my brain. What's an easier throw for him to have to make?
A screen.
Well, he did that. I mean, but I mean, that's like, this was easy peasy.
And he makes it all the time in practice.
Oh, well, He makes way tougher throws than that.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Way tougher throws than that. Against a much better defense than he was looking at Saturday night. It's just, it is. And look, we've all watched guys like this, whether it be our favorite whatever team, or we've been in a position where, I think golf is the analogy we use the most of, but I mean, most of the time, I mean, you're on the precipice of hitting a number and you're well aware of that number. And all of a sudden you take an inexplicable swing that you haven't taken all day long. You hassle a ball from the middle of the fairway after you've been squaring everything. And you're like, well, that is directly related to my nerves about the number that I want to shoot. That's the only thing it can be. So, everybody can relate to that. That he just wants to make a play for once. You got to stop wanting it, Tate.
Yeah. I could tell you personally, there was one time I was winning a tournament and we were playing at Heileman for the folks here in Tallahassee. And 16's a par 5 with, what do you think, 50 yards wide of an area to land? And then there's a lake that's about 50 yards wide to the right of it. I am bisecting the lake on the tee shot all day. It's been great. And it is 45 degrees to the right off of the tee, straight down the middle of the lake. And I'm going, it got me. It got to me. Okay. Re-tee. Let's try it again. That's what that looked like. The body language looked like that on Saturday.
It reminded me of Mito Pereira with a chance.
Oh, no. That was so tough to watch.
It was the exact same thing.
Oh, Mito.
It hurt Mito so bad he took it to the live. He's out. He said, I'm done. I want to go where nobody will ever see me again.
You know how bad it hurts?
I'm taking it to the live. I'm done. I'm taking it to the live. I'm gone. I can't handle it.
I'm on the Holy Rollers team on live.
I mean, goodness gracious. That's when I saw that. I was like, that's probably best for you, Mito. You take that guaranteed, buddy. I'm not sure you're closing anything out.
It is, though. You're right about the empathy you feel or sympathy. Well, we've been there, so sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just so hard to watch when it's happening in the moment. You go, no, not for you. You're doing everything right. You're doing the right
well,
things.
It's the worst when you care about somebody. It's the worst. Like and any parent out there watching, you've seen your kid have a moment, right, where the moment was too big. Now, the whole thing is this. Everybody deals with the situation in which the moment is too big. It happens to everybody at some point, whatever it might be. It could be you're giving a speech in front of a large group of people and you seize up and you stutter your way through it. Could be football, could be basketball, could be soccer, could be anything. It's what you learn from it that you hope to come back from and rebound and improve. It's just we're not seeing that, and that hurts. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator cells, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Face it, food shortages are a real threat now. Supply chain breakdowns, inflation, fuel prices, global conflicts, fertilizer cutbacks, farmers being encouraged not to plant. The stage is set for the peanut butter to hit the fan. But for some reason, Americans are still in denial about food shortages. Listen, we don't take risks with other things in our lives, so why take risks with your food security? Those who know what's coming are using today to prepare. Millions of Americans have purchased Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply, the brand people look for when they're ready for real preparedness. MyPatriotSupply.com is America's largest preparedness company. Get stocked up on emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage to get you through tough times ahead. Your other choice is to stand in government food lines, hoping for a handout. As we both know, that's not an option. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. MyPatriotSupply.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. People in and around Mississippi's capital city bracing for possible flooding as the Pearl River is approaching a crest after last week's heavy rainfall. About 100 to 150 homes in the Jackson area could be impacted by tonight. Some Jackson residents started moving furniture and appliances out of their homes late last week. Others are stocking up on sandbags. Sunday was a violent day across the nation.
A gunman opened fire in Detroit on Sunday, shooting 4 people, killing 3 of them. Police Chief James White says they arrested a suspect after an hours-long manhunt. Chief White was on WXYZ TV in Detroit. In Bend, Oregon, a gunman walked into a Safeway supermarket, killing 2 people before he was found dead. In Fort Worth, Texas, a drive-by shooting killed a 5-year-old and a 17-year-old. Police have been searching for suspects. And in Washington, D.C., NFL Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. was shot and wounded during an attempted robbery or carjacking, says the team. He's expected to survive. Police searching for suspects. I'm Rita Foley.
Also at townhall.com, a team of UN nuclear experts are hoping to gain access to a Russian-occupied power plant in Ukraine in the coming days now. The BBC's Hugo Bashega is in Kyiv.
For weeks, Russia and Ukraine have traded accusations about who's to blame for shelling the station, raising fears of a possible catastrophe. Ukraine says Russia has turned the site into a military base, using it as a shield to launch attacks. Russia rejects the accusations and says its troops are there protecting the complex.
And this is Europe's largest nuclear power station. Stocks are lower in midday trading on Wall Street. The Dow is off 18 points. The Nasdaq down 48. The S&P losing 3. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, felt good to get some football under the belt there. Watch a team take care of business the way they're supposed to. There's not a lot to spend on this game. Most of what we'll be looking at as we go forward is, of course, LSU this week. And today is the lone day where you kind of look back and say, all right, what do we see? Is there anything you can learn from this? We ended the hour with all that conversation about Tate Rodemaker. And again, I don't want to belabor the point, but it was unsettling to say the least. And it's going to be a problem, I think, if they have to go to him. I hope that's not the case. So at the end of the day, there's nothing illegal about your starting quarterback staying healthy for every game. It's happened before. So that's a big thing.
That was one thing that I did not like in this game.
He got pulled by the leg into the.
Well, that
they didn't really run.
You can slide. No, but he was trying to lead block in a couple circumstances,
Yeah,
one of which was near the goal line.
Yeah, don't do that.
And Jordan, I mean, I get it, and I get why you want to do it. You want to prove to your teammates that you've got their back. Trust me, by staying healthy for 12 games, you will have proven that you've got their back. Given your specific history of problems, sir, there is no need to be an extra blocker. I know that you put on some weight, but come on, man.
I can't say it enough. You're going to see a very different set of plays off the base plays that you watched this past weekend. You're going to see a lot in this LSU game that you did not see in the Duquesne game. Now, I don't know if it'll be successful, but they are going to do so much off of what you saw from these bland looks that you got in this game, which is great because we've watched some of that, and I'm not talking about what the plays are. I'm just saying they kept it very vanilla, as you should. They just went out and wanted to run the football, as they did, for over 400 yards, 3 different backs with over 100 yards, dictated terms physically with a much bigger, stronger offensive line, deeper offensive line than they've had in years past, took care of business in the way that they're supposed to. There wasn't much in the way of negative to take away from this game. I mean, I was disappointed with the kick returns. Again, I'm damn tired of it. I don't know why. I thought McCall looked like a guy that was kind of jogging around looking beyond a tree in a game of paintball, worried he was going to get shot. It was kind of like, what are you doing with this half-stepping? Hit the ground and go, baby. What are we doing here? The only reason I use the paintball analogy is that when I played paintball, the first time I did it, I didn't know enough to know that it hurts like hell when you get shot, because I was wearing a T-shirt and shorts. Never do that. That's dumb. You get lit up on that bare skin. You're like, damn it. All of a sudden, you think you're in a war. You're like, I'm not getting shot again. This is not good. So you kind of half-step around every obstacle, making sure somebody's not there to shoot you.
Clear the corners, Jeff. You got to clear the corners.
I'm just telling you. McCall looked like that, like he had been shot on the bare skin. Ooh, I don't like it. Hit the ground. Let's go, baby.
What's interesting is they have specific drills in which and this is during the observable portion of practice, so I can talk about it. Ball's in the air, they catch it, and they say, go! Like they're standing next to him. And Mike
buddy.
is like, go!
I don't know how many times we're going to have to.
Apparently, we'll have to have a different message.
Well, no, what I'm saying is we can no longer document for those fans that subscribe to Warchant.com, listen to the Jeff Cameron Show, Wake Up Warchant, whatever it is. I can't document it anymore. They work on special teams, I assure you. To what end? I don't know, but they do. And it's just something to behold.
What's the name of the buffalo that disappointed you that it was small for Colorado?
Ralphie. Yeah,
Ralphie. Can we rent Ralphie for to chase the kick returners? That's the drill we need right now. Is Ralphie's behind you now? We're gonna let him go. Come on, Sam. We're gonna let him go.
Yeah, or a tiger or something. I mean, goodness gracious, it's just it's unsettling. I don't know. I don't know what's with the half-stepping.
Also, the body language on the second one was not good. Some of the players around it, I'm not going to say who, but some of the players that were part of the kick return team, I'm thinking their body language is saying, here we go again.
No.
This, you know what? The 25 is A-okay by me.
So I said last night that I think Florida State's going to have to pass the ball and going to have success in the passing game if they have any chance at all to win against LSU. And I believe that. I'll reiterate that now. I think they got to throw the ball. I do not think, even though the identity of this team is going to be to run the ball, and they want to, that much of what they do is predicated on being able to run the ball. There are going to be a couple of matchups, maybe 4 actually, where they're going to have that taken away. That the opposing defensive line is good enough to stymie that consistently. And it is not efficient to run on first down against a big front, and they're going to do that. And so you're going to have to throw on first down, which I think they can. And you're going to have to throw out of looks that you ran the ball in last weekend, this past
Which
Saturday.
the outlets are there.
They're
so it's all part of the base.
there. And I think you're going to see a lot more of it in this game. I think that's how they're going to have to play it, because I don't believe you're going to be able to line. You certainly aren't going to line up and bully LSU the way you just did Duquesne. So I'm not saying you abandon the run. I'm saying the way you attack this defense is going to be a little bit different than what we saw in this game. I think they're going to come out throwing.
Yeah, the question to me is how many matchups out of the 12 this season, 11 remaining, are academic that you can't consistently run the football? For example, the Florida game last year, by drive 2, you're thinking, oh my God, there's no chance.
You can't run the
they've
ball.
got no chance to run the ball. How many of those are there? Or are there in those instances? Well, you're about to count them off.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's going to be as bad as the mismatch for Florida last year in November? Because could it be something closer to neutral? They're going to lose more than they win, but it's something closer to where you can actually do it, and 2nd and 7 wouldn't stun you, where you're like, it's little Giants. They say they gained a yard and everybody celebrates.
Yeah, they'll have more opportunities where that's the case than they did last year. They're better, and they've got a good offensive backfield, and they've got a better offensive line. So I think, yeah, they'll be in those positions more than they were a year ago. Problem is, they face an NC State team that will stop the run. They face a Clemson team that's going to stop the run. I think this LSU team is going to stop the run. That's 3 right there. I think they're going to have a hard time probably run the ball against Miami. So,
but you don't think it's as bad or as stark as, you can't even try. Don't even bother at all, because that's how it's been the last few years.
Yeah, it has. And I think for this – now, listen, one thing to note there are better offenses than ours that struggle to run against really good defenses. I mean, defenses today, look, first of all, modern football is predicated on the passing game. We watch this in both leagues, in the NFL and in college football. Now, the run has its place, of course, but when we just look at relative to how efficient an offense is, they throw the ball. They throw the ball a lot. And then off of that, you kind of open everything else up. When I was a kid, everything was predicated on the run. Everything started with, we're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to soften you up. We're going to take shots. You're going to creep up. You're going to try to stop the run. We're going to have matchup advantages at that point that we've created via the run. It's different now.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. If they throw a couple of bubbles early on and they are no gains, or they go for 1 or something along those lines, don't get pissed off, because what you're trying to do is fan it out.
Set it up.
And you're trying to fan them out a little bit.
Oh, you have to.
That's the key. It's like establishing the jab. And I don't think they're going to do it based out of a different looking offense where Jordan's under center or anything crazy like that. It's going to be the RPO throws. Those are the ones that are going to get you in the rhythm.
I wonder, so when you're doing that, Tom, a lot of this is we talk about patience that you have to have. Well, that's all based on how well is your defense stopping them. So can you set these things up as you're talking about a couple of drives in and it's 0-0, or is it 10-0? And now we got to come out of that. Now we got to do something different. So when I look at this game, I think, all right, if you can get stops early against LSU, you can be patient. You can kind of do the things that you want to do to open it up later in the game and wear them down. I'm worried that you're going to give up a big play because they have elite receivers. And if you're not home, and they do have a mobile quarterback, Jaden Daniels going to start. So if you give up a big play to an elite receiver, which is not unthinkable, now how patient can you be? Last year, they had to stay in certain looks because they couldn't do anything else. And to their credit, even when they got down, you think of the Notre Dame game, they're way down. Notre Dame backs off and basically says, we're betting on the time. We think, the ability to let you drive via the running game. If you want to do it, we're giving it to you. You can have it. But we're going to tackle you 6 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 4 yards, and take you forever to get down there and score. You might, but we're going to look up. We're going to be up by 2 scores. We're going to be in the middle of the fourth quarter.
And we think we're going to score anyway because of what their defense was unable to do. Florida State's defense was unable to do. That's what they were betting.
Yeah, so they're saying, look, we can score again, and we'll let you take up 7 minutes off this clock if you want to. We're going to give that to you. Problem was they gave up an 80-yard touchdown, and then they gave up another big play. So what they were trying to do is give to get, and they gave up too quick. I'm just curious. early on, if you can't run the ball at all.
I hear your concerns, but we are allowed to be in front. We're allowed to score first.
Sure.
I know it's a weird place.
Well, we did this game right down the field, buddy.
Right. And his first season, they came out with scripted plays, and they were fantastic. It was when they got off a script. The thing I like about this offense is they've got a chance to fight straight up more than they have in years past.
Correct.
It's not great, but they've got a better shot at doing that.
Mhm.
But they're never afraid to change the terms of the fight if they know they can't win straight up. The geography on the field, all right? You're going to win over here. We're moving over here, man. That's great that you've got an awesome nose tackle. He's not going to see the football hardly at all today.
Well, you want him to go sideline to sideline
Right,
anyhow, yeah.
right. And that's got to be part of the game plan. The good thing I saw, too, out of the offensive line this weekend was Dylan Gibbons looks as fresh as a daisy. He got down the field multiple times, 15, 20, 25 yards down the field.
Setting the tone, man.
Yes, that's good to see.
Yeah, and he looked great at center, too, so that was fine. I mean, I feel good about that. I'm not surprised that he looked good at center either. We kind of thought that was a possibility.
And if you're joining at the top of the hour, Maurice Smith is on the depth chart this week. He was not last week. That's good, but you've got to be prepared, and they will be. This staff has to be prepared to have as many as 2 or 3 different centers in this game.
I want to take a right turn before we break because I've got to ask you about it today. Have you seen? Can I just do this? I mean, we've always done it. This is going to be a 2-part thing. Here's the first part. The hell are we doing, Tom Brady? What are we doing with that hair? Now, look, I will call out a joker for a wig in a heartbeat, and I'm a master. I've got the radar. I've seen it for years. I've called it out, even in the face of pushback when people said, no. No.
This is nearly a 10-year deal now.
Oh, yeah.
With calling out Brady.
Well, I think we're seeing a man on the verge of a nervous breakdown. There's a couple things here going on that have me very concerned. I'm going to get out in front of this, Tom. This is going to be a long year in Tampa. The Bucs are not going to be good. This guy's losing it.
By what standard?
He's losing it.
By what standard?
What do you mean?
11-6 or 10-7?
10
because
and
they got
7. 10 and 7. No, they're going to be an average team. Slightly above average team. You may want to take the money on the Saints to win the division.
Oh, no.
I'm just telling you.
Sir.
Sir. This is not going to be a good year in Tampa.
You're betting on Jameis to beat Brady in the division?
The Saints beat our ass with anybody they roll out there at quarterback anyhow, unless it's the playoffs. Then we win and go to the Super Bowl and win it.
That's right.
So
with greater efficiency than Peyton and Breeze ever had at winning a Super Bowl.
That's correct.
It's how sad.
But I'm not worried about their feelings. What I'm saying is if we just look at this, I think we've got warning signs every which way to Sunday. He doubles down on the wig. It's like nobody thinks that's real. It's just crazy person hair everywhere. It's a lion's mane straight up in the air. He's doing a Carl Ravitch. It's nuts. He looks ridiculous.
So that's funny. He said something too.
Yes.
The quote?
The press conference.
I didn't watch it, but I read the quote, and I was like, what?
I watched the whole thing and went, my man has gone nuts.
He's saying, I've got a lot going on in my life. So the ultimate competitor?
No. Everyone's got different situations they're dealing with. We all have really unique challenges. It's all personal. I'm 45 years old. There's a lot of blank going on in my life. Come on, man. Surgery, a bigger wig, 11 days out of practice. What are we doing?
Director Matthew has the photo up there.
Look at that. What is going on? And look at that faraway stare. He's starting to look like a woman. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here. He's had 17 surgeries, clearly. What is my man trying to... This is a crazy person talk.
The head professional of tennis at Capital City Country Club.
He looks crazy. It's going down.
Boy, it's bothering you.
Oh, no. I'm just wanting fellow Buck fans to understand it's over. It's over. And you're watching the beginning of a nervous breakdown, this spiral. It's got weirdness.
Don't worry. It can be documented right here on Real Talk 93.3. You're home for the Buccaneers in Tallahassee.
He's nuts. It's crazy what kind of crisis he's going through. It is bizarre. Go listen to him talk. You're like, what are we?
Well, there could be a divorce pending or something along those lines.
There's a lot of stuff pending. I'm telling you. I also think he's like $150 these days. What is going on? He's gone. There's just. I'm first guessing it, Tom.
Well, it's the O-line that's going to be the bigger problem than Tom Brady's whatever he's going through right now.
He wants to be home.
Because he's going to get hit. He's going to get hit a lot. And if he doesn't want to be there in the first place and he's going to get hit more than he ever has in Tampa, that's the problem.
I'm just telling you, when I watched that, when he was talking, I went, oh, this is worse than I thought. My man is in trouble. And there's a lot going on.
What the hell's going on down in Tampa? Leonard Fournette's 280 pounds in July.
I wanted somebody to come up and go, Tom's not taking any more questions. We're done here, guys. Let's shut it down. No more questions for Tom. We've got
Tom, what did you think of practice today? 7. Guys, we're done for today.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna be a toughie, guys. Just want to get out in front of it here. I want y'all to know
it paid off.
I know we won our Super Bowl. That's
right.
Fine. I'm okay, but man, everybody's going through things in life, man. It's like, what? What is this?
When have you cared about that if a teammate was going through something during training camp? Ever?
I need him to get some food in him. I need him to stop adding to the wig. It was good enough, Tom. It was good enough. Why do we keep adding layers to the wig? He's going to have a hairline that starts just above his eyebrow at the next press conference. And he's going to weigh $130. This is going.
He's still going to have a passer rating of 110, though. You watch.
He will. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco.
They can dig it. Who's playing?
Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys.
Wow, far out.
You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas.
Does Margarita know?
Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Grant Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'm okay because of what you said. The gamble paid off, got the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Also won the division. So it's all good.
Right. Your brand is stronger.
Yeah. No, everything about it's better.
It's possible to win there again. So a quarterback could look at the place and say, you know what? Brady did it. I can do it.
But we're but I gotta tell you, my man, we are gonna be sitting back in awe at this meltdown.
He does look like he wants to talk to the manager.
He's a Karen.
Karen?
He's a Karen. You're just looking at him like, oh no, what is happening?
I'm telling you, he looks like the female head professional at the country club.
Yeah.
Go see Dawn over in the tennis shop. She's in the pro shop. She works 4 days a week.
It's just, I'm wondering what his teammates are thinking. Just as I'm wondering what the Nebraska players were thinking when my man decided to kick an onside kick up 28-17. Didn't get it. 5 plays later, touchdown Northwestern. And here we go again.
That dude is aged 15 years and 5, too. You can see it.
Quote, I made the call. It's on me. Yes, Scott. At that point in the game, I thought all the momentum was on our side. I thought if we recover this, we'll win the game. He's chasing. You can't chase the win.
How about no, Scott?
You can't chase the win. Play the next play, baby. Let's go. I felt like maybe we were the better team. Maybe.
Oh, no.
You can't really foresee them scoring 14 straight points and us sputtering after we played so well to start the second half.
So he's blaming the offense now.
He just blamed the offensive coordinator, who's Whipple, right? Those are excuses. If I had it over, I wouldn't have made the call. Well, you don't have it over, my man.
We got to stop with the parallel courses we're on with Nebraska, too, right now, because it shouldn't affect the way I feel about Florida State. But when I saw they lost, I thought, are we going to be in the same spot they are?
Well, he's 15-30. He's 5-21 in his last in one-score games. 5-21. So I don't know that you let somebody sit around here and go 15-30.
You guys take the charter home. I'm going to go hit the pubs. That's what he did.
Well, they have done the patience thing. Where you're like, okay, we're going to hold off. We're going to be very patient. Sometimes I think that's the way to go. But, that's a tough one to take right there. Speaking of which, and, the internet doesn't forget. After yesterday's loss, meaning this was posted on Sunday right after the Saturday loss. Think about this, Tom. When we get into the discussion about grass is not always greener. 15-30 at Nebraska is Scott Frost. Bo Pelini was fired after going 67-27. If Frost wins his next 50 games in a row, he'd still have a worse record than Bo Pelini had at Nebraska.
How many?
50. If he wins 50 in a row, he'll have a worse record than Bo Pelini did at Nebraska before they fired Bo. I didn't even think Bo Pelini was very good there, but I mean, whoo, that's a toughie. That'll hurt your feelings. We got him. There he is. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com. My man joins us as he's wont to do on a Monday. And this time around, Ira, we're talking about a 40-point victory. This is a moment not to revel in, but to just at least acknowledge, because normally you and I are talking to start a season about picking up the pieces and where to go next. So welcome in on that note, sir.
It feels like the 90s again, Jeff.
Yeah, on the verge of playing a huge game that the nation's going to be watching, fresh off a 40-point win. You're right. It does feel like the 90s again. Oh, man. Well, you've had a chance, I know. Certainly, you were at the press conference with Mike Norvell. I don't know that there was anything really revelatory there, but if you want to comment on what you heard from him and your thoughts now that we're yet another day removed, certainly folks can read your thoughts on 321warchant.com. You can go there and read that, and I would strongly encourage everybody to do that. But anything else that has come to mind now that you've had a little bit more time removed from this game?
You know, one thing that I kind of felt during the game is, even as well as Jordan threw the ball and the passing game clicked when he was in there, on a couple of the missed throws, you could tell he didn't like either what the receiver route the receiver ran, or I know there was one pass where it looked like the receiver drifted after finding a spot and then kind of drifted instead of staying where he was, and so you saw some miscommunications there. Defensively, there clearly were a couple of miscommunications about whether the defensive end or the outside linebacker were supposed to kind of keep contained, and the coaches kind of validated that. They said the communication was good overall, but there were definitely some slippage and things when they got different looks. Everybody wasn't on the same page. And I think that's important to note, because you're playing a team in LSU that will be playing their first game. And I think that kind of crystallized for me is, that's where the advantage is for a team that has already played a game, is that you should be able to work out some of those things, whereas LSU won't have that advantage.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's important. Again, I talked about how physically you wouldn't learn a lot here, but there were things that you could utilize in a first game that LSU hasn't played, and some kinks that you can work out. And that has to do with communication, both on and off the field. And you're kind of talking about that here, where you can refine some things, whether that be attention to detail in certain areas, route running, whatever it might be. And then also all the communication stuff that I talk about off the field. I think you're right. I think Florida State has an opportunity, and we knock on wood here, to get off to a good start in this game because of it. And in a weird way, I think if Florida State wins the game, it will be because they get off to a good start and then holds on for dear life. And I don't mean that as a negative. It just means that I think LSU will get into the game slowly, and there's real talent there, so it'll become a dogfight. But Florida State could get out to an early lead, and that would be huge. It's been a minute.
Well, there's no question. You'd much rather be playing this game when it's playing them in November, because we know that they have an edge on talent. They've recruited much better, even with some of the players that have left over the last year or so with the coaching turnover. They have recruited at a completely different stratosphere from where Florida State has been recruiting the last few years. So they're going to have a talent advantage, but you do get them in this first game, and you do get them with the game under your belt. And to your point, I think Florida State's going to get some opportunities. LSU is going to make mistakes. It's inconceivable that LSU, in their first game with a whole new coaching staff on both sides of the ball, that they're going to come out and play a clean game and not make mistakes. Well, man, FSU has to make them pay, because, as you said, if they're doing the right things and your guys are doing the right things, they're going to have a lot of advantages in that game. But when they make mistakes, and they should, Florida State has to take advantage of it.
Could be a big moment for Jordan. And what the reason I say this is, I think he has a chance. He's already solidified himself as the starting quarterback. We know he's better than he was a year ago. And just in terms of leadership, he put on weight, he did all these things, right? He looks more decisive, more importantly. I think that will probably show throughout the course of the year. I don't think that's going to change. I think that step forward is. But here's where you have a chance in a big game with the experience that he has and the confidence that he's built to get out to a good start, because I think we both agree, Ira, they got to throw the ball early. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. They're not going to bully LSU's defensive line. Jordan should be equipped to do so. I think he feels confident throwing the football. He's going to get a chance because LSU's going to dare him to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's hard to take too much away from the Duquesne game, but you did like the way he stepped into some throws. So, he had 2 or 3 throws over the middle that were impressive. I mean, it looked a little bit different, and it's what we've seen in practice. A couple of those days out there in preseason where we were like, whoa, we haven't seen this before. And it's when he throws with conviction, hits it over, sees it over the middle, makes that throw, gives the receiver a chance to go make a play. That's a big deal. That's not just floating balls out on the perimeter. And, again, though, it's a big step up in competition, and nobody has any idea how much pressure that defensive front for LSU is going to be able to put on this offensive line. We love Alex Atkins. I mean, I think he's done a tremendous job since he's been at Florida State. Everybody has all the confidence in the world. Man, the spotlight is on him and that group to see if they can do anything to neutralize a really talented defensive front for LSU.
What do you make of the "or" in front of Maurice Smith's name? It wasn't there a week ago. He's obviously progressing enough for them to put him on the depth chart.
Yeah, man, I think knowing that kid and what he played through last year, and the fact that it sounds like he's told Alex Atkins that he's going to practice this week, I wouldn't bet against him. I think there's a decent chance he plays. And then, again, now it's okay. How capable is he to do the things they need him to do? Because it's not like FSU center just snaps it and stands there. They do a lot of pulling. They do a lot of movement. So we'll have to see how he does. But it would not surprise me at all if he's out there for that game. And, a couple weeks ago, we probably didn't think that was possible.
Given that not everybody has the opportunity during a work day to hear Mike Norvell speak at a press conference as you did today, what did he have to say, again, for the people listening now and didn't have a chance to watch, about special teams? I thought that was the lone area where maybe some frustration could have been built from the fan base in terms of kick returns and letting some punts bounce.
Yeah, it sounds like they really didn't have a problem, either he or John Papuchis, with Micah Pittman's decisions. I think the one that turned into a near fumble that Kevin Noles, it ended up hitting him, that's one where they were upset with the communication. They have, he and other players have to be more clear and listening to make sure that doesn't happen. But it sounds like they didn't have any major problems with Micah's decisions. I thought maybe he could have got to one more of those ones that bounced, but they were fine with it. And then the lack of the return game, I mean, they're obviously not happy, but Mike Norvell as well as I do, and especially early in the year, he's not going to be too negative. He likes to build guys up, and so his approach is to, look, 8 or 9 guys did the right thing. We've got to get every single guy doing the right thing. John Papuchis and Mike Norvell both kind of made it sound like they're not that far away. It sure looked like they were real far away when we watched it. I didn't think Sam McCall looked great.
Nope.
He's a true freshman, and it's his first time out there. So it's understandable that maybe he's trying to break the big one as opposed to just getting decent yardage. It's the other thing they did say was on the second one, he should have downed it. Where that ball was, as deep as it was outside the hash, on those they want to down him. They don't want to take him out, and that's where the mistake. And I heard you and Tom talk about the body language. I think the players on the special teams unit were kind of looking at him like, dude, why'd you bring that back? Where it was, you shouldn't have brought it back. So it's a learning experience, man. He's a freshman, and again, that's a great situation that he got to get that out in that game and not in the Superdome on Sunday.
Talk to you later, brother. I'll see you tomorrow, of course, and we'll all be headed to New Orleans. Don't forget, everybody, to go over to warchant.com. You can read Ira's thoughts there, Corey Clark, and all that good stuff, plus tomorrow's Seminole headlines from 1 to 3. Talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks, Jeff. Take care.
Yep, you too. Ira Schoffel. And, the only thing is I admittedly agree, first of all, that, it's the first game of the year and you're going to have some things. But it's not like we were just waiting on this because it's new. That all of last year they didn't return kicks with any degree of certainty. Nobody seemed to be gung-ho about returning kicks, and that has to stop. That's the only thing I lost patience for right off the bat. I went, again with this?
Do you ever get nervous that somebody's a kick returner and it would rob them, perhaps as an injury risk from their day job, so to speak? Like, for example, Deuce Spann or Trey Benson. would you be okay with them? Because they were in the rotation in camp.
They were, and I think you got to use Deuce Spann there to some extent. I really do think you need to.
Or Benson. One hidden thing about Saturday on the pick on the 4th down. So Trey in the beginning, after it's intercepted, doesn't really take off. He's kind of watching for a few steps. And then he decides, as he realizes, oh, no, this guy might score, that he needed to turn on the jets. It's not quite Carlos Williams, Kermit Whitfield in Pasadena. Man, that kid was not going to score. He was not going to score. The turf monster got him, but it also saved him from being hit by Benson. Holy smokes.
I'm still mad about it, not just because of what happened, with Tate making that decision and that throw and all that says about where his head's at still, but I'm mad about it because it cost us the shutout. I really wanted the shutout.
They're so rare now.
Well, they're going to have the shutout. They're going to get the shutout. They're going to get it. If not for that interception, they're going to get it. Damn it. That really pisses me off. That I was like, we got this. This is gonna. They're not moving the ball. They're not capable of moving the ball. First down here or there. Once the defensive line got angry after the one first down, they ratcheted up and they stoned them. You could tell they turned it on, turned it off a little bit. Now that's one thing that certainly they'll be talked to about.
Sure.
But man, if you don't give up 40, whatever that was on the return for the field position, they're not going to score. We would have had. Chip Baker would have been able to walk over that spiked baseball to Adam Fuller. What happened?
So my question is, and we see him at practice because we're up at Hauser, so we'll have to ask Big Shooter. Do you already spike them? And so if so, has he been sitting on one for years on his desk, or does he put the spike in after it happens? Because if it's beforehand, I mean, we got to go back and look how many years it's been.
I know.
They were coming left and right in the Stoops and Pruitt days. And not so much now.
They were fun. I was thinking to myself, man, you're on the verge of perfection for the game, in that we would have complained about the kick returns. Obviously, Tate's. We're complaining about it now, but had he not done that, really, what else? What else are you going to complain about?
So you're not worried at all that going for it on the 31-yard line, 4th and 7, is indicative of confidence in the kicker or not? That didn't play into the equation. You think they're just getting work in?
I think they're getting work in, and I think he was trying to show confidence in Tate.
I'm wondering if he was trying to shield Ryan from having to miss one before next week to keep him up. That was my thought initially.
Well, I mean, the play call is going to work. He's got him. It's as bad a throw as you'll ever see. It's just terrible. Everything gets sped up on him. You can just see it's a panic. And if it doesn't happen, now think about that. You remove that for a minute. The only thing we're complaining about at this point, likely, that I think is legitimate.
And lamenting injuries, but yes.
I mean, you're basically going to complain about kick returns. That's it. Maybe I thought there was another punt he could have caught as well. But, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, agreed.
That's it. You wouldn't be complaining about the damn thing else.
No, I mean,
and especially because they played it so bland, so close to the vest, as they should have.
But the offense was professional, the way they went about things.
Right down the, it's just.
We'll be talking about Kentron too, Deuce and Kentron.
Good job bringing up Kentron. I failed in the opening. I wanted to say good job to Kentron Portier, because that's a kid that has had moments in practice and the body tells you it's got to happen. I'll give you one that I'm still a little curious about. What's Malik McClain going to be for us this year? I wonder that. I have not seen him take a step forward. And
the best thing he did was draw the penalty, which was not.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good sell job on his part in the PI, and the throw down the middle. That's another one that Jordan. There were two where I thought, and Mike alluded to it today at the press conference. There were two where I thought Jordan turned down a better option, or he didn't see it. But on the Malik throw, he's covered over the top. And you've got an outside releasing route underneath him. But other than that, I just like the fact that I'm criticizing Jordan Travis about being too decisive. That's a nice place to be.
Well, and also you're going to watch an entire football game. And you're going to see a misread here and there. You're going to see a missed opportunity here and there.
But those are the normal talking points of breaking down a quarterback's performance. We haven't done that with him.
You're considering buying a new home in the current climate. We've also heard, as everybody knows, that demand is high, inventory low. So you want to get an edge here. The first place to go is a call for my friend Shannon, at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with complete pre-approval underwriting. No longer an upgrade or anything like that. It's pretty standard these days. So if you want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line and shorten the time, remove your financing contingency and all that, sellers will know at that moment that your offer is very real and ready to go. It's tough out there, so you want an advantage, and a proven winning team in your huddle. Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN, or visit FSUHomeLoans.com, FSUHomeLoans.com.
Your local news now.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement issued a silver alert Sunday for a missing elderly man who is from Tallahassee. 82-year-old Charles Kemp was last seen in the area of the 700 block of Gladiola Terrace. Kemp is described as a black male, 5'8", 160 pounds with a bald head and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a green shirt and jeans and may be traveling in a 2016 blue Hyundai Elantra with a Florida license plate tag number of Z127HQ. If anyone has any information on the whereabouts of Kemp, contact TPD at 850-606-5800 or call 911. Around 300 FAMU students will spend the next week living in hotels as Florida A&M University works to fumigate the Palmetto Phase 3 dorm. This all started during move-in week when one student noticed a cockroach. Since then, there have been multiple complaints causing them to shut down the dorm as they work with pest control companies to eradicate the problem. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. Highs around 88. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73. Partly cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
Hearth and Patio wants you to know now is the time to start thinking about your fireplaces. Yes, we know that temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 90s for the next couple of months, but now is the time to start thinking about upgrading those fireplaces. You're not going to be using them. Get those fireplaces upgraded now. They can repair all makes and models of fireplaces. 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jammin' Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Show on Twitter. Jeff, does Tom Brady's story end with A, Bruce Jenner ending, B, O.J. Simpson's ending too soon, C, walking off the field throwing his jersey, wig, shirt off while walking off the field with 2 birds flying high, D, a combo of A and C and marries Donald Trump? Well done, Christopher.
That Jets game last year was bizarre, and it had Tom Brady stole the show from Antonio Brown. That was the best part of that.
Yeah, man. I was laughing because as that comeback happened and the drive down the field occurred, I remember thinking, well, the only thing that would overshadow a player losing his mind on the field and taking off his jersey mid-game would be if Tom Brady engineers yet another drive to rip the heart from the chest of Jets fans. Countless. I mean, that game was over. They had it won several times.
That was Tom Brady's double birds to the Jets. One more time.
That was also just a laser.
It was Grayson.
That was a laser.
Oh, man.
As soon as he made the throw, I was like, oh, you sorry ass Jets.
That
Brutal.
And they played a great game because,
Oops.
Yeah, I
Way
know.
to throw it away.
They did.
Way to throw it away, guys.
That was the most childlike I was watching Brady play. For a moment, I was the fanboys in New England. We're like, oh, it's Tom Brady. That was me going, oh my God, look at this.
Well, he's done it a lot. I mean, and that was, remember how quick it happened too. It's just like that. They had very little time, and it's just boom, 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 boom. We're like, oh man, I've seen this before. This is, I mean, when it's happening for your team, it's incredible. But when you're watching it happen all those years when he was in New England doing it to people, you're like, not again. This is going to happen again.
Right.
This guy's going to do this to these people. I never, obviously.
It's like watching a great pitcher who was not great anymore. Have that one day, that one start.
Like, oh, he still has that.
Yeah.
Well, the depth chart was released today, by the way. And the only thing that really stands out to me is I mentioned it earlier in the show, and it's great to see because I can tell you that there was real fear that Maurice Smith may be out longer. And the fact that he's on the depth chart is a really good sign. I want to bring that up. I also want to point out they played a ton of guys at center. It wasn't just that Dylan Gibbons played, but obviously Thomas Schrader played. You had two other, I think
Stickle. I think it was 4 total.
Stickle played there too. Yeah. So, and Gibbons played there, as I said. So you had a lot of guys be able to give it a go.
Yeah, Maurice, it'll be interesting to see what happens during practice this week. We'll see if Mike comments about it on the record. If not, then we'll talk about it, next week when we're on the show. And I'll be interested to see if Gibbons is the second guy still, over Darius. Is Gibbons the first reserve? Again, I'm just so glad that they showed that because to me, I think that sets the tone and creates a better opportunity for a group of 5 if he's in the middle.
One of the things that you could do for this year, because again, remember, Dylan Gibbons is a redshirt senior, and he is a massive human being, 6'5", 330, athletic, best he's looked in a long, long time. You mentioned him blocking down the field, but if you're able to let him fill that role, you build more time for Thomas Schrader, who's been working so hard to get back to a place where he's physically capable of doing this.
Still doesn't look right.
Still
yet.
isn't quite right.
But a lot closer than he was.
Right. So if all of a sudden Gibbons can do that, I do think, even though we're talking about another redshirt freshman, I do think Estes is right. I think he can play. So I would put him at left guard or right guard if you want to shift it over. You could do that, and I think your line's fine. If you go Scott, Estes, Gibbons, Emmanuel, and then Bless Harris, and then you Turnantine's the first off the bench at one of the guard spots, or if you want Turnantine in there instead of Estes for now, you could probably do that too.
It's interesting too. This was a question I got on the boards last week about Jazz and what he said he was really good at and bad at when he first came to Florida State, did the newcomer interview. And he said, I'm really good at run blocking. I'm bad at pass blocking. They told me that before I got here.
Yes.
And that's what they want to work on. And I wasn't impressed with Jazz in camp at tackle. But then the move late, I'm intrigued now because clearly they like him as the first reserve at guard. And that was with a week.
Well, I think we just assumed he was a tackle with the reach at 6'7" height.
But if you are already advanced as a run blocker and you've got that size as a guard, yet you might be serving everybody better if Maurice is not 100% to play Dylan up the middle and rotate Dimitri and Estes and Jazz as your guards. I like that. I think you got a chance at that point because Darius, I didn't think was great at center when he played before he got hurt.
He's struggled with the snaps. He hasn't been consistent.
He'll be in the rotation at guard as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No, and I don't think Maurice Smith plays this weekend. I'm not saying it because I want him to play. I just think that it's a great sign that potentially in a pinch, the availability appears to be there. So good. Let him get back in the fold, start practicing again. You're going to need him probably later on in the year. I'm just, maybe in the Louisville game, maybe the game out. I don't know.
Maybe he will be available. I did not expect to see his name on the 2 deep.
No, but and I don't expect him to play in this game. But I mean, I don't think it's a welcome back kind of game. It's LSU's defensive line. You're coming off of an injury. I'm not rolling his ass back out there.
That's got nothing to do with practice. Either access. That's just
a guess.
But that he's on it, maybe.
Probables, my friend. Let's cue it up and get 2. Put
it's
him on
time
the spot.
for how you say
3 clicks.
Probables.
Cardinals, Reds, Miles Mikolas.
Yes.
TBD for the Reds. Dodgers, Marlins, Michael Grove, Pablo Lopez. Cubs, Blue Jays, Javier Assad, Jose Berrios. Red Sox Twins, Brian Bello and Dylan Bundy. Pirates, Brewers. Buccos have no idea who they're going to pitch. Corbin Burns will pitch for the Brewers. That's going to be a loss for the Pirates. Yankees, Angels, Frankie Montas and Jose Suarez. Phil's, D-backs, Rangers, Suarez. All kinds of Suarez out here. And Madison Bumgarner going for the D-backs. Padres, Giants, Mike Clevenger and Carlos Rodon. And that is a look at those who shall reside on the bump. So I'll have you know that I had New Mexico State plus 10.5. They lost by 11. I had Florida State minus 41. They didn't cover by 1. We're off to a start.
You're off to a start. That's correct.
Yeah. I missed the half. It was a half-point loss in the New Mexico State game and on the line. And it was a 1-point no cover on the Florida State game.
How about Vandy?
What was that?
What in the hell?
That kind of ass kicking nobody saw coming.
Hawaii was an 8.5-point favorite, I believe.
No, I think Vandy was favored. But
Vandy was?
But either way, it did not by 50.
63-10.
It was insane. How about that is right? I can't believe the number. Now, listen, I'm going to go in here and we're going to talk about this. We'll put this out there. But I do think Ohio State's going to have their way with Notre Dame. But some of the numbers I'm seeing associated with that are getting interesting. You're going to want to lock it in this week, guys. We've got some thoughts here. Also, Oregon is a huge underdog to Georgia, and they should be. But you can do some alternate lines here where you can make that fun. You can get a lot of points, and it's not like Oregon's devoid of talent. So those numbers might be something for us to look at. You do realize.
My computer's locked up. We got 10 seconds.
Oh, you realize we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll talk to you then.
Right.
Peace, everybody.